Hello, my name is Harry Goodwin, and once again I am back in the office because it is freezing outside to tell you, my fellow foreigner friends, all about aspects of Austria that you really need to know when you come here on your fun-filled Erasmus, when hopefully, things get better basically. Can't say too many things, otherwise we might get demonetized, and that would be an absolute pity. Anyway, I got told by our one fan of the channel that I've got too many buttons open and I look like, what was it, Enrique Iglesias, far away Steffi over there in Zoom land. So for our one fan, I should probably button that up. There you go. If you don't like it, you can address all your complaints to Robert and he will answer them probably or not. Anyway, this is beside the point. So what are we talking about today? Today we are discussing some laws that you probably should know. And we should probably put in a disclaimer. We are not a legal advice channel. We are not lawyers. Everything that we say is merely for entertainment purposes only. Anything that we say cannot be used in court because it is just for entertainment, and you should not do anything untoward and or try out these laws for yourself to see if they are genuinely against the law. Anyway, legal disclaimer this over. I'm sure my editor Steffi will put in a proper one in due course.
Disclaimer. This publication and the information included in it are not intended to serve as a substitute for consultation with an attorney. Specific legal issues, concerns, and conditions always require the advice of appropriate legal professionals. The use of the internet for communications with the firm will not establish an attorney-client relationship, and messages containing confidential or time-sensitive information should not be sent.
So, the first law, I can't really do 1, 2, 3 because I got told I count really weirdly with my hands. That will be a topic for another video when other people are actually allowed in the office or outside when it's a bit warmer and not chucking down with rain. Anyway, the first law we're going to discuss today is jaywalking. So in Austria, if you jaywalk, you can actually get fined. So only cross the road at crossings. You can usually see them. They look like zebra crossings, or they have traffic lights next to them. And the best bit is, if you're at one of these crossings and you are allowed to cross, cars legally have to stop. And if they don't stop and run you over, well, maybe you can make a lawsuit out of it, maybe not. But these are good Austrian citizens and I'm sure they will stop for you. Oh, and I probably should say as well, if the light is red, don't cross over the road. Don't be one of those people. Those people get fined. Fines are bad. The next law that you probably should know about is buy a ticket before you board a train, a tram, or a bus. If you don't have a ticket for one of those things, you can be fined quite a lot of money and or thrown off. You don't want to be stuck in Pil-Fomperbach for another hour or two because you decided not to buy a ticket. So always buy a ticket before boarding public transport. Now, when we're talking about these tickets, what do you do with them? Well, for buses and trams, there are these yellow machines. We might put in a crudely drawn picture afterwards. We shall see, because we're not entirely sure if we're legally allowed to take pictures in e-file-based stuff. But anyway, what you do is you put your ticket in the machine, it goes ping, and then your ticket is valid. If you have not pinged your ticket is not valid at all. And for trains, just turn up on the train, make sure you've got some ID if you have a discount card or anything, and then you'll be absolutely fine. So, next point is ID. You need to carry some around with you because you are not Austrian citizens. I am not an Austrian citizen. I always have to carry ID with me because legally the police can stop you and say, where's your ID? And if you don't have your ID, this can lead to complications. And the best ID to carry is usually a passport. And for those who are not EU citizens, you have to carry around proof that you are allowed to stay in Austria as well. So bear that in mind. So the next law that you might find a little strange is, picture the scene. You are crossing over the road without a care in the world when suddenly, well, no one turns up, but they could, because cars at traffic lights can actually turn right even if it is green for pedestrians, which can be a little bit unnerving the first time that happens. So when crossing over the road, Make sure you're always looking both ways in case a bad person in a car, possibly with IL on their number plates, decides to run you over. Covering your face. So in Austria, when there isn't a pandemic, you are actually legally required to always show your face. You can't cover it, except in very specific situations that I shall not mention here for fear of being sued by people who watch this video, did not listen to the disclaimer, and then claim, oh, I didn't know, and then they get in trouble with the law. That's not going to be us, so when it's not a pandemic, always keep your face free. The next law is, imagine you've gone out, you've gone to the bars, you've had so much fun at the local ESN section party or soiree, and then you've sadly got to go back to the airport because you decided to live in that student home and now you regret it horribly. And there are no buses. What do you do? Well, I can tell you the one thing you don't do. You don't cycle there. Why? Do not drink alcoholic beverages or have any intoxication in your body at all, and hop on your bike. The reason why, if the police see you swerving across the road or they decide to randomly stop you, then you can face huge fines. We're talking the thousands of euros, and if you have a driving license, you might have to say bye-bye to that. And then what will you carry around for your ID? Oh wait, you're carrying your passports like good citizens. So very simple, don't drink and cycle. That will end disastrously. But there you go. So don't drink and cycle, and take a frown taxi home if you need it. The next law is possibly one a little bit surprising. So in Austria, the Austrians generally are a law-abiding bunch, not quite like the Germans, but they still like their law and order, but not the TV show, they like it in real life. So anyway, after 10 p.m, you need to zip it. You need to be quiet, because if you are causing a ruckus, if you're making lots of noise in your flat after 10 p.m. and your neighbors don't like it, they can very easily and legally start calling the authorities. And, you know, when the authorities come to your door and they ask questions, questions are never good when they're from the authorities. So after 10 p.m, zip it. Going back to bicycles, make sure you've got lights. So you've got a white light on the front and a red light on the back, as well as reflectors and reflectors on your wheels. Because if you don't have these things and you're cycling along and a jolly policeman sees you without lights and reflectors or a bell or anything else that you're supposed to have on your bike, and the police catch you, they can fine you. And you don't really want to have to push your bike home because you're not allowed to ride it anymore. You look a bit silly. So the next law is probably self-explanatory for those people who come from France or Germany or Sweden or pretty much anywhere else where they drive on the right. But for my Anglophone, well, from Britain and Ireland and any other countries which drive on the left, bear in mind in Austria, you drive on the right. And the first time I came to Austria, I didn't quite realize this fact, so when I crossed over the road, I looked the wrong way and almost died. So bear in mind, people drive on the right in Austria. Get used to that. So the next thing that I should tell you is all about what happens on Sundays and holidays, because Austria has lots and lots and lots of those. And on a Sunday or a public holiday, the shops, they are closed. And this includes most supermarkets and pretty much everything else. So if you wake up Sunday morning and you think, I am hungry, what should I buy to eat? The answer is maybe McDonald's, because restaurants are open, but the vast majority of shops are closed. There are a few which are still open. For example, at the main station in Innsbruck. That particular supermarket in question, we are not sponsored by them, so we shall not mention them by name, but anyway, there's a supermarket there. And they are open on Sundays. And if you want to see feeding time at the zoo, but with people, go. It's a wonderful experience once, and that's it, never go again. So there you go, shops open on Sundays, they are not. Thank you very, very much for watching this video. We had plenty of fun telling you about Austrian wacky laws. I think Faraway Steffi did too, when she didn't freeze, of course, problems with Zoom. And we will see you in the next video. Till then.